Welcome to Red Hot Reads with Red. I'm Red. I'd like to thank you for joining me at this time during my staycay, staying at home, engaging in social distancing with all of the rest of you. So today I have been thinking about what I could do to keep myself from, going bonkers here. So I have been rereading some of my favorite series. And today I'd like to introduce you to one of them and one of the first books in that series. I'd like to introduce you to The Fever World. And The Fever World is the baby of Karen Marie Moning, like awning, not moaning, but Moning. New York Times best-selling author. And book one in her Fever series is titled DarkFever. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Going to go over a little bit and get you, hopefully, interested in joining me as I read the Fever series. First of all, the thing I want to point out is that at the beginning of the book, the main character, her name is Michaela Lane, Mac for short, starts out with in the prologue by saying, "Any day that nobody is trying to kill me is a good day," in her book. I wonder why. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes then. So, Michaela, or Mac, is your everyday young lady. She's 22. She has a sister named Alina, who is currently enjoying studying abroad at Trinity University in Dublin, Ireland. She lives with her parents, and her parents are away on vacation. Now, while her parents are away on vacation, Mac is enjoying her life. She's sitting at the pool. She had a little accident. She dropped her cell phone in the pool. But, chilling around the pool. And she thinks life is good because she has a pretty decent job. She works as a bartender. And she has really cool friends that she can hang out with. And she has Alina, her sister, who she loves desperately and who she's waiting to hear from any day now. And she misses her parents. And all of a sudden, there's a call. And she thinks, oh, that's my parents. But it wasn't. The call that Mac got came from Ireland. And it was to inform her that her sister, Alina, had been murdered. This devastated Mac, because there was no way her sister, who was only 2 years older than her, could be dead. You only thought about death when you got in your 50s or 60s. You didn't think about it when you're in your 20s. But unfortunately, Alina had been murdered. Her parents come home and they are devastated to find out that one of their daughters has been murdered. And the father, who Jack Lane, who is a tax attorney, decides, he's going to call in some favors and see if some of his friends can help him out and find out who did this, what happened. But that's to no end. So her parents act out in different ways. Her mom starts baking and cooking and baking again. And her father finds himself having close, friendly relationships with the bottle. But Mac is angry, and Mac wants revenge, and Mac wants to know how, when, why, and where all of this happened. So, 2 weeks after she learns about her sister's murder, she decides to drain her bank account and buy a ticket to Dublin, Ireland. Her parents are against this for sure, but Mac is determined, and she is going to Dublin, and she's going to find out who murdered her sister. Well, she decides to go and get her phone replaced from being in the water, and as she replaces her phone, she listens to it, and there's a message from Alina. And she listens to the message, and it's a very cryptic message. It says, "Mac, where are you? What are you doing? You don't even know what you are. We've got to find it. We can't let them have it. It's the Shisadu." And Mac is like, What? What is the Shisadu? What am I? What is she talking about? Because this doesn't sound like her sister Alina at all. So Mac bids farewell to her mother and her father, and she catches a plane. Then she ends up in Dublin, and she does not want it to be a beautiful, beautiful city, but it is. And she can see why Alina loved it so. As Mac is trying to get herself acclimated to being in Ireland, she understands that the language is a lot different and that the people are not as friendly as she thought. But she decides, she gets a hotel and she stays, and she decides to go out and have a bite to eat. And while she's out having a bite to eat, after she's finished and she's getting ready to pay her bill, she notices a handsome, incredibly hunkified man come into the bar. And she thinks, oh, he is drop dead, gorgeous, handsome. But as he heads to the bar, she watches him do something that she, as a bartender, cannot sit still for. He reaches over behind the bar and grabs one of the best drinks and starts to drink it without paying. And she is offended as a bartender. She thinks, oh, wow, whoever the person is, they're going to have to pay for that out of their own pocket. And she's mad, and she's going to tell somebody. But as she looks a little closer at the handsome man, he starts to change. His features start to get gross and undescribably ugly. And she's staring, and all of a sudden, someone hits her on the head. An old lady, and she says, what are you doing? You're going to give us all away. Stop staring. And Mac just cannot understand what is going on with this old lady and why she's hitting her on the head. Well, with that being said, Mac has just about had enough already, but she remembers that she's there for a particular reason. So one night, as she's caught up, lost in on the streets of Dublin, she finds herself so lost and following someone to try to get back to where she's supposed to be, but that's not happening because the person thinks she's trying to run after them, and she finds herself at a bookstore, and she thinks, oh, I'll just go in this bookstore and I'll call myself a taxi. So she goes into the bookstore and she meets a woman named Fiona, and she is very nice, and she asked her if she might be able to use the phone, but she'll buy something because she knows that some places won't let you use the phone unless you buy something. So she thinks at that moment, oh, while I'm here, why don't I ask her if she knows about this she-sa-do that my sister Elena mentioned that I had to find. And she mentions that to Fiona, who says, I don't know what that is. But behind her, she hears a voice. And that voice belongs to the most mysterious, incredible, interesting man Mac has ever seen. His name is Jericho Barons. And Jericho Barons says, Miss Lane, as he's introduced to Mac, that why are you looking for the she-sa-do? And Mac says, well, do you know about it? And they go back and forth with this conversation. And he almost gets to the point where he's threatening Mac with why she wants to know about the she-sa-do. And Mac then gets very afraid, and thank goodness the cabbie shows up and she can escape and go back to her hotel. But she's really concerned now about this Barons guy and this she-sa-do, and what is it, and what was that strange vision she had, and who was that crazy woman who hit her on the head? So much drama in such a short amount of time. But I don't want to give out any spoilers. I want you to read DarkFever. And like I said, it is Karen's first book in the Fever series. Please read it. And I will be rating it with a star system, heart system. So I'm going to give it 1 to 5 hearts. 1 heart means, not today. 2 hearts mean, that's so basic. 3 hearts mean, oh, I'm feeling that. 4 hearts mean, oh, that's lit. And 5 hearts means, yes, that's a red hot read. So for today, I'm giving Dark Fever by one of my favorite authors, Karen Marie Moning, a 4 because that's lit. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow and hit the notification bell. And thank you for joining me. I do want to leave you with a quote from the book that I think is really appropriate for this time during COVID-19 and all the fear and everything people are going through. And that quote is, there are really only 2 positions one can take towards anything in life: hope or fear. Hope strengthens, fear kills. With that being said, finally, you've just been read.